Over the past week, we have seen Sydney Sweeney attacked relentlessly by so many people in the media and so many people on the left and so many people in the entertainment industry because she refused to apologize for something that needed no apology. The American Eagle ad about Sydney Sweeney has great genes that the media tried to gaslight everyone into believing was some white supremacist dog whistle, which it absolutely was not. We saw the fallout from that. We saw the interview. We saw the reaction. And Sydney Sweeney refusing to give in to this bullshit narrative. Well, as a result, after her movie flopped at the box office over the weekend, which, by the way, had nothing to do with those comments. This movie was never tracking well. Shockingly, the movie about a female boxer who looks like a butch lesbian was never going to perform well in the box office, according to the tracking. This backlash had very little, if nothing, to do with it flopping. However, of course, people were going to hop on that moment that this Sydney Sweeney movie fucking tanked in the immediate aftermath of her making these comments. And Sydney Sweeney did respond to this. And to be fair, when your movie flops, this is probably the right response to have. Not to blame fans, not to blame people for not going to the movie, not to attack people. Instead, to say, you know what? Proud of what we did. I'm happy with the work that we did. I think it was important. I'm glad we got to do it. This is her full statement. I'm so deeply proud of this movie. Proud of the film David made. Proud of the story we told. Proud to represent someone as strong and as resilient as Christy Martin. This experience has been one of the greatest honors of my life. The film stands for survival, courage, and hope. Through our campaigns, we've helped raise awareness for so many affected by domestic violence. We all signed on to this film with the belief that Christy's story could save lives. Thank you to everyone who saw, felt, and believed, and will believe in this story for years to come. If Christy gave even one woman the courage to take her first step towards safety, then we will have succeeded. So yes, I'm proud. Why? We don't always just make art for numbers. We make it for impact. And Christy's been the most impactful project of my life. Thank you, Christy. I love you. Not blaming the fans, saying, hey, we're proud of what we did. And I think that's probably the classy way to handle when a movie fails, as opposed to attacking the fans. But there's a couple people out there that hate Sydney Sweeney with a fiery passion. And one of them specifically feels like Sydney Sweeney ruined this movie. And that is Ruby Rose. Now, Ruby Rose, you may or may not remember her name. Or sorry, let me respect Ruby Rose's non-gender conforming pronouns. They? Is that what you're going by now, Ruby? She, they, he, I don't fucking even remember. You know what? We'll just play it safe and go with her. Ruby Rose, who maybe most notably was in Batwoman until she got fired for Batwoman, played victim after getting fired from Batwoman, got replaced by a black woman as the lead role in Batwoman, a miserable series. She also played a role in, was it John Wick 2? Where, you know, thankfully she didn't speak, probably the best role for a lot of women, but specifically for Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose is pissed at Sydney Sweeney because as a lesbian herself, although how you can be non-binary but also lesbian, I still really haven't figured all of that out. That doesn't make too much sense to me. If you're not a woman, you know, how are you a lesbian? I don't know. Too complicated. I'm sure all you people, your minds are very well ordered and you understand exactly why that means that. But anyway, Ruby Rose blames cretin Sydney Sweeney for Christy flopping at the box office. You ruined the film. Yeah, so Ruby Rose, coming off all of her massive smash hits at the box office, is blaming Sydney Sweeney directly for the movie failing. Ruby Rose is taking a swing at Sydney Sweeney after Christie's box office failure. And she put out something on Threads. I think this is on Threads. And look at Ruby Rose on Threads. Look at her fucking shaved head, whatever she's got going on there. Fucking rough. Anyway, there, it actually reloaded. The original Christy Martin script was incredible, life-changing. I was attached to play Cherry. Oh, so now we're seeing why you're so sensitive, upset. You were supposed to be in this movie, and then you got replaced for some reason. Now, okay, I get it, Ruby Rose. Everyone had experience with the core material. Most of us were actually gay. It's part of why I stayed in acting. Losing roles happens all the time. For her PR to talk about it flopping and saying Sydney Sweeney did it for the people. None of the people want to see someone who hates them parading around pretending to be us. You're a cretin and you ruined the film. Period. Christy deserved better. Now, look, I don't care about this movie about a lesbian female boxer who gets abused by some dude and overcomes obstacles. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that story. But Christy Martin has been going on everywhere she can talking about how fucking awesome she thinks this movie is. So apparently Christy Martin doesn't think she deserved better. But you, Ruby Rose, you want to judge Sydney Sweeney. You want to say these things about Sydney Sweeney. She hates all gay people, apparently. Sydney Sweeney, who famously, this dress, which has been used in a million thumbnails around the world, at the GLAAD Media Awards. That's strange. I didn't know the GLAAD Media Awards were where you go when you hate gay people. But maybe Ruby Rose is right. Maybe if Ruby Rose had been in this movie, and maybe if she had more of a say, maybe this thing would be a bigger box office success. Because Ruby Rose, I'm sure the last couple of years for her, it's just been great, right? Let's go to Ruby Rose's recent box office numbers here. This is the past 5 years. These are the real numbers. These are the real worldwide box office numbers for Ruby Rose, just to be clear. Dirty Angels, role of medic, $31,000. Not million, $31,000. The Collective, 2023, $6,000. Stowaway, $18,000 at the worldwide box office. Taurus, she plays Bub, $5,000. $5,000. One Up, I think that was released on Amazon, so I don't comment on box office for that. SAS Red Notice, $146,000. Vanquish, $62,000. Cranston Academy finally broke 1 million. 1.2 million. So this is Ruby Rose. So outside of a movie where she has a tiny supporting role like, say, The Meg, that does well because of Jason Statham, or, I don't know, John Wick in a movie where she plays a supporting role as a character who doesn't even fucking speak, and because of Keanu Reeves, it makes a fuck ton of money. Ruby Rose, I don't know if you have any fucking room at all to talk about the box office. And you know what's funny? If Sydney Sweeney came out there and made comments to you and saying you're a fucking creep and using like language like that against a fucking gay or lesbian or whatever, everybody would be all over her, criticizing her, calling her hateful, calling her this or that. But this is what you get away with when you're a fucking pathetic victim minority in the entertainment industry. This is the type of shit you get away with saying when you're a piece of garbage, a piece of trash like Ruby Rose. And look, a lot of people hate Sydney Sweeney right now because she refuses to play by the rules. She refuses to bend the knee. She refuses to do all this bullshit. They want her to do this ritual, and she's not doing it. So she's getting a lot of hate. And there's no doubt about it. This movie flopped at the box office. It was never going to succeed because I don't think people are very interested in seeing Sydney Sweeney in a role like this where she doesn't look like herself, where she puts on 30 or 40 pounds for the role. And when the content, I just don't think really appeals to most of Sydney Sweeney's fans. But certainly some people in Hollywood, very, very unhappy that Sydney Sweeney got to do this movie at all.